in the middle of his run, went in, they're offering him beer, hot dogs and stuff, and then all of a sudden they notice he has a bib on. No. And they're like, hey, get out of here, you gotta get running.
Welcome to the Kona Insider Show. In this show, we're going to take a look at the Ironman from a perspective of people who live here. And we're going to start with the Averys mother-daughter combo. They both live here, train here, and qualified for the Ironman. Let's get to it.
So I'm Brenda Avery, and I'm 57, rookie, first time doing Ironman. We're doing it together. This is my daughter,
Sierra Avery. 25, also first Ironman.
How do you come up with the whole idea to like race Ironman?
Well, the end goal was never to race Ironman. The end goal was kind of a bucket list thing I had years ago, just to do a half.
Okay, how did that come?
That's a good question. I mean, growing up and around Kona, you always see triathletes. And you kind of see the progress of the training, and then you watch the accumulation of the months of training. Mm-hmm. And then there's a race day, which having that peak is kind of something fun to look forward to. And I always grew up an athlete, so kind of having those goals is fun to look forward. But I was never really a biker, so it's kind of a pipe dream. Mm-hmm. You kind of were biking first.
Yeah. I've done really short triathlons up in Alaska, so I had a little bit of experience. And then I always said if I were to do a triathlon, it would be a long one because I'm a distance person. So, because I'm terrible with the short sprinty ones. And then Sierra said she has a bucket list of a marathon and a half Ironman. And so that's when I said, okay, I'll do them with you. And that's kind of where it started. So we both did Honu.
Sierra had the idea, and you were just like, okay, I'm going to join you? Or
yeah, because I was living here and kind of training on my own, not really training for anything, just training. And the marathon, she's like, well, I have a ticket, you can come watch. And I'm like, I'm not going to watch a marathon, that's boring. So I'll just do it with you.
I love that. What happened at Honu? You accidentally qualified, or?
Pretty much.
Pretty much?
We both had no idea.
But you accidentally won your age group, or how did that work?
Well, it seems like such a far off goal when you're such a rookie.
Yeah.
And then you're running, and all of a sudden, like, our family is right on the sidelines saying, you're 10 minutes ahead, and then you're just kind of like...
Yeah, you're like...
Oh, no!
They're like, don't worry, the second person's 20 minutes behind you, and you're like, what?
Yeah.
That can't be.
Nice.
And then you finish, and then you kind of know.
And we just look at each other, we're like, I guess we take
remember
the slot.
That was funny. Yeah. That was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were so like over it, and then you were like, wait, we qualified?
That's when you're in too deep.
Yeah,
well,
and but you made the decision to take the spot and do it, right?
Right. Yeah. It just seemed, I mean, at that point it was still pretty heavy COVID. I was working from home. I was supposed to be moving out of Hawaii towards the end of the year.
Yeah.
So the timing just to stay a few more months and train for the full Ironman.
Oh yeah, that was in June, right? And then October would have been the race.
It made a lot more sense. Because it only seemed pushed through here 3-4 more months.
Yeah, and then they pushed it over again because of... Yeah, so what do you think about the two race day format?
I have mixed feelings about it. I think there's pros and cons.
Yeah.
I guess I like the idea of women having a day and women being able to get started earlier for once. I mean, that's positive because I think they're always, they start later in the day. So they get choppier seas, windier ride, hotter day, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But as far as the number of athletes, I don't know. I kind of feel like it waters things down. This is World Championship. Mm-hmm. People spend so many hours and time and work and traveling to qualify for this. And now, like, a race could have 50 slots, and now it goes to 300 slots in a race to qualify. So I'm not sure how I feel about that.
Okay. And back in the days, you said, "Oh, I don't feel like I'm worthy, that I really qualified."
Yeah.
How do you see that now with like you know, all this situation with the 2 race days? You still feel that way, or you're a bit more sure of yourself because you won your age group after all?
Yeah.
And, you know, you like guaranteed got that slot, and you weren't like 96th at some Ironman with like 15 hours and got the slot, you know?
Yeah.
So you feel, is that something, you know, that helps you to feel better now, or you still have that worry in you?
I still have that worry. I think it's because I've never done one.
Fair enough.
So I'm like rookie.
Yeah.
I don't know if I belong.
Oh,
I guess.
Believe me, you belong.
I don't know that.
Yeah.
And I did win my age group, and that was great. But then I'm always like, well, maybe there wasn't a lot of competition there, and because of COVID, maybe a lot of people didn't get to travel, and But I guess every race is that way. It just depends on who shows up and who doesn't.
So you're worried about like, what we have now, 5,000 people racing?
Yeah.
You know the years before, right?
Yes.
You've always been here
Yes.
the years before when it was just a single day event.
Uh-huh.
So how crowded was it back then, and what do you feel like will change now?
Super crowded. I can't even imagine how it's going to look in a couple weeks or in a week.
I mean, like I said, it's so crowded now that the parking lot is full already. We just have to, I mean, we have more parking lots, but the one particular one in front of the pier is already like overfilling, and there are barely people here yet. So.
And even down at the pier, in the cubbies where people put their bags.
Yeah.
With just one, day of racers, 2,500 participants, whatever, there's just bags, a sea of bags all over, just on the ground, everywhere. I can't imagine now having 2 days worth of athletes now. And being a biker out there, it's scary.
Well, people, I think, are already anticipating the chaos and the people and everything being so crowded. And so people already these next few months are going to be on a short fuse. So then these little things that happen, it's going to make people snap, and it's not going to be as, I think, forgiving as it normally is here.
Okay.
Like if you're seeing a bunch of bikers and one biker swerves in a lane or something. Yeah. It's just, I think people are going to have a lot less patience for other people.
So we always say, the myth of Hawaii, racing Ironman. Is that gone now? Like, does it slowly die off? Is Ironman, like, just a cash grab? How would you describe the myth of the Ironman Hawaii out of your perspective?
Because we had the choice of doing Ironman Hawaii here or going to St. George, Utah. And I'm like, why would I go to St. George, Utah? Yeah. To me, it would just be another race. Yeah. It's special here. Why? I've met a lot of people over the years come here for Ironman. I made lots of good friends from different countries. And they all say the same thing. It just wouldn't be the same if it wasn't Kona. We come here because it's Kona, and we want to come to Kona. Okay. It's just iconic. And if it were St. George, Utah, or if it were somewhere else, not quite as exciting to go to.
So you don't think with 2-day racing event, with the prices going up,
that may be a game changer?
Yeah. I think the myth will sustain. I think there's so much history with the Ironman here, and so many just years and years of like this cult following of people trying to get into Kona. And you see people here, they're like, oh, I've done 20 Ironman, 10 have been here. It's like the holy grail, the Mecca, so I don't think that will change so much, but I think it's definitely going to be tainted. It's going to have a little bit of a different meaning or connotation, like with people are going to be, I think, turning it down, turning away from Kona because of the money. Expensive. So
and kind of watered down.
So, I mean, there are two problems here, right? The watering down is made by Ironman, but the high prices for accommodations is not necessarily Ironman itself, right? Exactly. So, you could argue either way, like, the people are running Ironman out of town, or Ironman is running itself out of town. How do you see this whole thing, and also knowing people who help organizing it and volunteer coordinators and stuff?
I hear both sides. I hear a lot of people saying that they don't want Ironman here anymore. And then there's a lot of people that are supportive just because it takes over the town. And but it brings a lot of money into town too. I think it helps a lot of communities. It helps a lot of community events, kid events. I mean, they do a lot of good as well. I mean, like the underprivileged donate money to the swim pool, like $100,000 to help out, and running a swim camp for underprivileged kids, and there's a lot that Ironman does give back to this community. I think the accommodations, and because he was saying like 3,000 for the accommodations this year, and he looked into next year for like the same place and it's 7,000.
It's ridiculous.
So it's like, I can't do that.
I mean, hopefully it's a kind of a supply and demand type of thing where the pushback will kind of eventually reach Ironman, and it will hopefully even itself out, because if you do just get people denying Kona slots and it only rolls down to people who can afford it, then undeniably Kona's not going to be the same. It's not going to be as competitive. It'll have a different feel to it. I think for me, at the time I was here, and then it got moved back, and then I was moving to Japan, and then I ended up moving once it got pushed back again. And I think at that point I definitely would have been done with it if my mom also hadn't been qualified and training at the same time. And even after Honu, if you hadn't qualified also, I don't think I would have done it.
Yeah, that would have been hard.
Yeah. I think
it's definitely easier having somebody that's also doing it, because even when she's gone out of the country, even when we're training for the marathon, we're just like, okay, today's a long run. Okay, have a good one. Nice. Doing the same long run and
daily.
Yeah.
So what does that feel like living under the same roof?
Oh, it's good, because like, what do you have tomorrow? Yeah, me too. Okay. And I'll complain, and she'll like, stop.
Yeah, it's a good balance.
Yeah.
Nice.
She's literally like, just finished a 7-hour workout driving home. She's like, what do you have tomorrow?
Then Sierra's like, I'm not talking about tomorrow yet. And I'm like, wow, I'm planning for tomorrow.
You have like cutoff times? Like when you don't talk about triathlon, we're like, no, enough for today with triathlon.
She does that.
I designate it.
She does that.
Yeah.
Good. Smart call.
I don't want to talk about this right now.
I'm not talking about tomorrow right now. Perfect. And I'm already thinking about, okay, where am I going to start? Where am I going to start?
But on the flip side, she'll be good, because then it'll be the night before, and she's like, gotta get our stuff together, let's go. And I'm just like, so the motivation factor is nice.
You still have empty, dirty bottles on your bike.
It's so easy for people to talk bullshit without knowing it. Without being here, without knowing what's up. It's just always easy to judge. And that's why, personally, I think, even though we're going through a hard time with the 2-day event, it's going to suck for a while, I think it's going to prevail and go on after.
Yeah, because we don't know. This is the first time doing it.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, I'm worried as hell too, like just seeing the housing situation, but I still think it's going to work out.
Yeah.
Cool.
It just seems like coming back to the myth, like you said, it's so personal for everybody. Everybody's personal. You just see them crossing and racing, and it's just everybody has their own personal world or myth going on during this race.
Yeah.
You can just see it and you can feel it.
Yeah, that's
it's so exciting. First time I saw it, like the start, and the helicopters and the gun going off and the sun coming up and the splashing in the water. It's just so exciting.
Everybody's just happy to see that you're doing Ironman.
Yeah.
It's so supportive, which is
people
cool.
see you on the highway driving by, and they message you like, oh, looking strong, like little things like that. Even people who aren't even triathletes kind of thing, they ask you, how are you doing? Are you excited? Are you feeling ready? That kind of thing, just to feel the support you feel more support from the community than backlash, actually, for sure. You're all at the pier sharing the area, and then you have random people walking by going, oh, are you doing Ironman? Oh, nice, I did it in 86 one time, like, good for you, I'll be cheering.
Nice.
Kind of thing. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, everybody has a story or you live here, inevitably you have some sort of connection or relation.
What's your favorite Ironman story?
I got one. Bill.
Yeah.
Who helps with the bike course.
Yeah.
Said one year when it was, I don't know if it was the year when they made you go down to the end of the world and back.
Yeah.
And you transition at Sheraton, maybe. He stopped at like a tailgating type thing along the Li'i. In the middle of his run, went in, they're offering him beer, hot dogs and stuff, and then all of a sudden they notice he has a bib on. No. And they're like, hey, get out of here, you gotta get running. And so he just has his little pit stop and then keeps going.
Hot dogs and beer.
Yeah.
You know, when I was like, what year was that?
I
Probably
don't know.
80s, 90s, something like that. He lived here forever too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's so funny when I volunteered at where you qualified at the 70 Pine Tree. I was like all over, the signs. I was trying to do everything perfect. He's like, it's a volunteer job. You have to calm down. Let's get lunch. That's so funny.
That sounds like him.
Yeah, he's got a good approach to everything.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, super chill.
Super chill.
Mine is my sister. When she did it, I told you this, they had divers with spear guns underneath all of them to keep sharks away. Because they thought all the splashing would bring in the sharks, and obviously it doesn't.
I didn't know. What year was that?
I don't know, a long time ago.
Yeah.
30 years ago?
Yeah, could be.
Wow. There's so many people who not swim in the ocean are worried of sharks. Like the Germans, that was the first thing. Like, sharks! I was like,
They live in the ocean.
Buy a GoPro at Bike Works and like take a nice picture of the shark.
Yeah.
Everything else you don't have to worry about.
While it swims away from you.
Yeah.
Hopefully you can catch it.
Yeah. I mean, remember that one time when we were like saw the shark and I was gone and I saw it on the side and we were just like sprinting in.
Yeah, sprinting.
Oh god.
I used to do that too.
Or the one time I said, "Oh, there's been a shark around the 3/4 buoy," and you go, "Can I hold your hand?"
Oh yeah.
You swim by it. We're safe now. Big thing for me when coming here that I really appreciated and noticed was like across all age groups. I mean, I'm good friends with high schoolers and 80-year-olds or whatever, and happy to train and work out and meet up with. I mean, everybody's accepting of everybody.
Yeah.
Which is kind of fun.
Yeah, and I feel like this is part of this community, and this is also part why IRONMAN works so good here.
Yeah.
Which can't be replicated in another spot.
Yeah.
I think so, at least.
And all the kids come out and volunteer for these things.
It really does take a village, and like everybody comes out.
Yeah.
And helps.
Yeah.
I think that's going to make the race so much more tolerable, easier to get through. It's just all of that.
Yeah.
Just all of that outside support.
Thank you for your support, and hopefully see you next week when we talk with our coaches about the whole performance aspect of Ironman and what it means to sustain the pain and to prepare for an event like that. See ya.